Alrighty, the time is 6:30 on the nose. I hereby call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the Sunderland Selectboard. Our first order of business tonight will be to approve our minutes from the 4/14/25 meeting.
I motion we approve the minutes of 4/14.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. Thank you. All right, new business. Our first order of new business is to review the sick bank follow-up. Becky has provided us with this lovely memo here.
The Personnel Board met at 4:30 this afternoon and reviewed the information that I found that you all had remembered accurately, that you had taken a vote a couple years back in June of 2023. In reviewing that, I found that there was some change to the policy. The hours, you had changed from 40 to 160. That change had not been made, but there was the information the vote, the purpose of your vote was to activate the sick bank despite the balance being over 1,100 when it was limited to 600. What I discovered in talking to staff and payroll and employees is the implementation of the change you voted back in 23 did not happen.
Gotcha.
But you had voted it, and on that basis, the Personnel Board has attempted to move forward and to activate the policy. We reviewed a list of participants that are currently, there was a master list of about 24 people, and about 10 of them are still employed with the town. So what I did is I took all the employed people and their hours and made a group of the people that were eligible that had donated to the sick bank. And that total, I think, was 532.
Yeah.
And then there's a second group of eligible employees who have not had the opportunity to donate because the mechanism was not distributed, the forms weren't distributed for them to sign up. So that group, there are 6 eligible people that have not had that opportunity, and the Personnel Board is recommending that they be given the opportunity to join the sick bank at this time. And then looking at the numbers, it was decided by the Personnel Board to recommend that each of those employees donate 12 hours to join the sick bank. That'll bring them just over the total sick bank to a total just over 600 hours, which is the target for the bank. And then there was one case where we have an applicant for the sick bank who was in that second group. So the Personnel Board talked it through and determined that they felt that person should be eligible. They are eligible. Their problem being, at this point, they have 0 hours of sick time. Right, so they can't donate.
So my only question on that is, because the select board passed the resolution 2 years ago, they should have been eligible all along.
Correct.
Right.
So my only question is, did that particular person in question, but all other people, did any of them lose any sick time at the end of the year that they weren't able to donate to the bank because it otherwise expires? And
It's possible. I'd have to go back to the
I
records
don't know
for
how the other
23 and 24.
other members of the board feel, but if that person had to give up hours in the last 2 years because they weren't having access to the thing they should have had access to, I would see giving them credit for those hours towards the 12, because again, at the end of 24 and the 23, they should have had the opportunity to donate those hours, get in the bank, and now be eligible for the bank.
Yeah.
So, and maybe they don't. Maybe they use all their hours every year, and that's not the case. But at the very least, it'd be worth checking to make sure that's not the case, because I would really hate for them to have gotten messed up by a bureaucratic issue. Rather than
So what we're suggesting for the Personnel Board is that we allow this person to apply to use sick bank time, even though they've currently been sick and not had access to it, and that as soon as they accumulate 40 hours of sick time, they donate their 12, because they missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
We don't want to say the minute you hit 12, give it to us,
Because they have none.
because then they're back at none. So because of just this error that happened where, you know, they really should have been in this potentially 2 years ago, or close to 2 years ago.
Yeah, then that's
So-
my thinking, is that there was a mistake made where
Yeah.
they weren't given the thing they were eligible for, so I would fully support giving them every opportunity to be able to get to where they should be right now.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying if we can give them credit for past hours, great. If we can give them an opportunity to buy in now with the future return, great.
To
Um,
to
either
just to
way,
remedy,
Yeah.
you know,
The current situation. And then the final recommendation from the Personnel Board, given that the application was received, they're recommending that the person be given 40 hours at this point.
Okay.
no, 4 weeks,
I'm sorry, you're right. Oh, my gosh.
which is 160 hours.
Thank you, Crystal.
That's all right.
Yep, that's, makes sense to me. Any other discussion on this before we move to a vote?
I like the idea of looking back. If people were
Yeah.
eligible and didn't get it, and they could have had it, if then they lost sick time because of it, I mean, definitely should take that, claw that back in and put it in.
Right.
Yeah, so if we can make that a follow-up, just, and not just the one employee who's in this
Right,
circumstance,
for
but the
all
other
6, all
ones.
the other 5. yeah.
Just because, you know,
Yeah.
again, if they've already lost 12 hours, we might as well,
Yep.
you know, give them the credit for that, because they should have. And just sort of another point, had this employee in question known they had this available to them for the last 2 years, they made slightly different choices about when to take their sick time based on how much they had left, knowing that it's expiring versus knowing that, hey, I can roll 12 of those into this bank, and may have made slightly different choices over those 2 years to, well, I'm not that sick today, I'd rather save that time for my sick bank. And so again, I feel like they got a little cheated in this case, so whichever way we do it, I feel like it's worth us making that right as a town, because, you know, and again, these are our employees. We want to do right by our employees whenever possible. So, yeah, I'm all for that. All right. At this time, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to amend the sick bank?
A
policy?
motion to accept the recommendation of
Accept the
the
recommendations.
Personnel Board?
Okay, that's fine.
Might be easiest.
Yep,
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right. We have a motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. 3-0. Thank you very much. All righty. Next up is reviewing the 4-year-26 annual town meeting outcomes. I'll get started. I'm very pleased with how it went. I think that the people asked good questions. I feel like the town was in concert on the budget, on the different warrants that were up. I want to shout out to the finance committee and appreciate their presentation they gave and the work that they did for that, as well as the work through the season. And also one other to thank you to Aaron for being so well prepared to stand up and, speak to his points. All around, I think it was great. There was a couple of sort of minor, growing painsy kind of things that happened. But that's not particularly surprising given that we have effectively an entirely new administrative wing of this town. And congratulations, Crystal, you are officially the longest tenured member of the administration. But yeah, all around, I think it went very well. I was pleased with the turnout. We had, I would say, more turnout than I remember last year, which, or at least comparable turnout from last year.
The
so.
official head count was 88.
Okay, so that's pretty solid for what we usually get. But yeah, from my perspective, I think it went well. Do you have anything you want to?
Nope, I think that sums it up. I'm happy it's over until next year.
I thought it was good. The only thing I'll be critical of myself was I wished I had been better prepared for the FERCog personnel changes, and I'm probably going to reach out to Susan just to figure out what those were, because I should have been well versed in that. I guess we could have had someone come, and if I had to do over again, I would have probably invited someone to come just to speak to that.
Well, that's also one of those. you never know what someone's going to ask questions
That's right,
on.
that's
You know, we thought about certain things, we prepared for certain things, and then nobody asked questions on those things. And then the things we don't think of, no one thought to prepare for the FERCog thing. I also didn't think to really prepare anything for that either, because to be honest, I didn't think anyone was going to even
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
care
that's
about
true. And it's
changes
not-
to the FERCog
Yeah.
charter.
It wasn't,
you know?
it wasn't the issue that was up here.
Yeah, I think more than anything else, it was just, I think there were people in the audience that didn't know the FERCog existed, and were kind of like, "What's that again? You might have to be a favor and tell me what that is." Which is honestly, that's not bad. That's a great thing. Like if we can take a moment at a town meeting to be able to educate people in town about something that's important, like the FERCog,
Yep.
great.
Yep.
All right,
But no, everything else was good, I thought. It was great.
I just wanted to share that Cindy Bennett was in today,
Mm-hmm.
and she was so surprised and delighted. She had no clue.
Oh.
She thought Mel would have given her a heads up, but the secret was greatly appreciated. She was just getting back from a trip, a very special trip, and that's why she
That's
wasn't
great.
there on Friday.
which I mean, to be fair, we don't expect. She's retired now. We don't expect
she
her
get-
to show up. But no, I'm glad to hear that she got wind of it. That's great.
Yes.
The book's ready? Was it when she opened the book?
No,
Not
the
yet, all
books,
right.
the proof came in today, and it looks beautiful, and I think we should have it by next week.
Great.
And I think Mel and I learned through this round that we have to be tougher on people and shut down and make them get reports to her earlier so that she has more lead time to have it for the annual town meeting.
Okay.
So, and that was something that I alluded to, but I want to make clear is that I actually want to apologize to you, Becky, because we went into this town meeting kind of just assuming that you knew how Sunderland does everything, and
And I missed a couple things.
well, no, but we also, to be honest, like I knew Cindy retired, I knew we
Yeah.
have a new town
All
administrator
that
assistant,
knowledge.
but like it didn't really occur to me. Wait a minute. All the people who've been doing this for 30 years are no longer here, and nobody is here who's been doing this for a long time. And so, like, I just wanted to say, on behalf of
Yeah,
myself,
we became complacent. We
we
were
very
used
much just
to,
assumed it was going to run the way it has every other year.
yeah, and that Jeff was gonna, in the
Yep.
past, Jeff,
But he had somebody like,
But he also had Cindy's experience for all that time, and Margaret had her experience here while she was here and all that. And so I just wanted
Right.
to
Yeah.
say that because,
yeah,
institutional knowledge is
Yeah.
hugely
yes,
important.
you know,
And it would have helped if I could have grabbed the file that because we spent a long time writing up Cindy's thing, we had that, and if I had brought that, knowing you needed it as a reference, that would have helped that problem, but I didn't realize.
That's fine.
So, thank you for your understanding as I learn every day something new.
And I hope part of what you're hearing also is please be patient with us as the whole of this the whole of our committee here is what 8 years total between the three of us, I think. So something like that. 4, 3, and 2,
Yeah, so you're,
9. So we're also learning how all this works as well. So just I thought that was an appropriate thing to say.
I appreciate it.
Do you have any other feedback for us on that? I know that.
Well, I now have a finance committee member who's gonna back me up on any documents that go into town meeting because of that formula error. And Dylan's very happy to double check things. I'll just pass it by him to have a second pair of eyes when you get, I was handling 4 different budgets and the other 3 were good, but it's always that last one. So
Makes it through.
I'll be sure to use a double check and not, not have something that isn't right show up again. I think it'll help a lot, and Dylan's very willing. So that's one thing. I think Mel and I learned a lot about what we have to put together, and she worked so hard, and I think she's done a beautiful job on the annual report, and I think you'll be pleased.
Great, I can't wait to see it.
So.
Very much looking forward to that. Wonderful. Anything else from any of us before we move on to the next item? Okay. Excellent. All right. Next up is the Graves Memorial Bid Award and Contract. It is contingent here on annual town meeting vote, which did pass, so that is lovely. Do you want to give us an update on that?
My update for this week is that we've have some new information that we're sorting out, and so I'm not bringing you the contract award for tonight, or the contract award. will be delayed a short while, but I should be back to you on it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Any discussion on that item before we move on? Beautiful. All right, our last new item is a one-day liquor license
Okay,
application.
he is waiting in the,
Oh,
No, you didn't.
in the waiting room.
Let him
You gotta let him in.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry.
He's the one for the
perfect.
liquor license.
Welcome, Hayden. So we were just getting to our item
It's all right.
on our agenda for reviewing your one-day liquor license application. So the application is for the Town Park Pavilion on Sunday, 5/18/2025. And we were given supplemental information that has all of the sign-offs from the fire department and the police chief and all the stuff that we need, including insurance, including the declaration of the town being the supplementary person on the insurance, I believe. All the ducks are in a row. So, is there any discussion from the board on that?
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 3-0.
The actual one was downstairs.
Oh, all right. It's all done.
I mean, you're welcome to sign it, but.
Thank you very much, Hayden.
So you're all set.
You're all set. Have a wonderful party, and congratulations to you or whoever else is graduating.
His sister.
Your sister, wonderful. Congratulations to your sister. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day, and have a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that's all of our new business. For old business, do we have any select board updates?
I got nothing.
I'll just, will say, I will have a 6-sheet set showing the whole shared use path. I'll be distributing that all around soon.
In the form, we can open it? Or?
Yeah, I'm gonna basically reduce the size of it, so it's gonna be 6 sheets everyone can look at, so.
Excellent.
It's huge right now, it's unopenable, but I'm working with Jim and I'll make it work and get it out. But this week, and then my goal is to get in front of the CPA group, have something here, and then receive comments, and probably do another one, end of May, maybe in the very beginning of June, because it's gotta be done by the end of June.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Exciting. I'm very much excited to see what they came up with.
Yep.
And get some movement on that project, because it's long been in the works. All right, Crystal, you said you're good?
I am good. Yep.
I don't have anything outside of annual town meeting, which we already discussed. Becky, any town manager updates?
I have a question. Oh, gosh. I have a question for the select board. Where would you like the land acknowledgement on the website?
That is a very good question. I'm trying to look in my mind's eye at the website and remember the different parts of it. Maybe we spend a little time thinking about that and get back to you if that works.
Perfect. That'll work.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be great. Actually, there is one other piece of new business, sorry, that I wanted to, or I guess it's old business, new business, whatever. Select board update that I wanted to bring up while we are still in this part, and that is that we had extended our summer hours this past year into the fall, owing to not having a lot to talk about in September and October. And I would like to propose that we do something similar after we get through the next couple of weeks of annual town meeting wrap-up stuff, that we move the beginning of summer hours earlier this year, because we end up with the same situation most springs where it's kind of slow in the end of May and June. So anyways.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think we should, one more, I think. I don't know how much,
The
do
next,
one more, then we can,
Well, we'll have to, after elections, that's,
This Saturday, yeah.
right, but then that next meeting is the one where
that'd be the Monday following.
right, but that's the one where we redo committees and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah, that's right.
don't we?
and do you make appointments to those committees?
So,
Yeah.
Does that happen?
probably between the three of us, we're all gonna say, let's just keep what we have and move on, but we might not, right?
Yeah, we should talk.
Nathaniel might say, I am
Done
done
with
with
this."
this one, and, someone else has, so that's usually,
Right after the election, yeah. So that would
Is
be
it all
this
just
coming
2
Monday.
days? Was it 2 days or we wait a week? Did it happen that fast, or do we? need
yeah,
to
I don't
wait more
remember,
time?
yeah, I don't
couldn't
know,
remember.
but I know, whether it's
Sure.
the next week or the week
Following
after,
after,
we
so
have
we
to,
should wrap
at
those.
some point get that,
Okay,
because again, some of the committees might change, they'll have
yep.
So let's definitely plan on this coming Monday meeting, because we need to do that, and also just make sure we wrap up stuff and whatnot. But we can tentatively plan for the following Monday off, and with the understanding that if Becky emails us, on Tuesday of next week saying, hey, a bunch of stuff just came in, we need to post a meeting, that of course will be flexible and come back, but,
Yeah.
So the 5th and 12th, 19th, so, okay. So the 5th for sure, and then we start on the
5th
19th?
would be next Monday. That's the one that we know you have to come into. So it would be the 12th would be the
12th.
first one off, and then we'd be back for the 19th, and then every other week from there.
Which would be off the 26th anyways, because that's a Monday holiday.
Okay,
So that lines up nicely for that.
okay.
So,
If we need more, we come back.
Yeah,
on the
and
12th.
scheduling things is one of the few things that's sort of exempt from the open meeting laws. So we can email each other if
Yeah.
something needs to come up, and we can also. It would be good for the four of us to look at our summer vacation schedules, for example, because if like 3 of the 4 of us all have the same Monday, vacation on that Monday, we might want to consider
Switching around.
tweaking things or
Yeah.
whatnot. So, but anyways, scheduling for the summer, I want it to be on our minds. So let's start working on that.
Sounds good.
All right. That should be all of our new and old business. I don't see anyone in here or on our waiting list. We don't have any correspondence, no executive session tonight. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All right, we have a motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye.